Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series. Hello and welcome back. This week, I'm just getting right into it. None of this merriment and frivolity on this podcast.
Yeah, what do you think I'm going to say first?
Ari, how are you? We haven't seen each other in a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a week.
I am good. Today is the 4-year anniversary of me and Michael dating. So that's wild.
That is crazy.
Half of our relationship has been in a pandemic.
Amazing.
So when we realized that last night, we were like, whoa.
You're the host, if we can call it that. I did not change the title, though. Chapter 3. Back to the bro.
I was like, where are you looking?
I have them written.
On your wall?
I have them written on this list.
Oh, Adam, you're so professional. Keep that in. That stays in. This week we read chapter 3 called The Invitation. Adam, what happens in this chapter?
So Harry gets goal. Harry gets invited by the Weasley family to go to the Quidditch World Cup and is allowed to go.
Perfect.
That's all that happens in the chapter.
Very well said.
So let's get into it. The chapter starts out. We had if you remember from last week, we had just gone through JK's famous, let me reiterate everything that's happened in this series so far. And she does it a little bit in this one too.
And now we go through JK's famous fatphobia.
Oh, God.
It is.
Okay, well, hold on.
Bad.
So Harry comes down to breakfast and immediately, it is really like immediately.
There is so much to unpack. Oh my God.
So it's just a lot, and it's unfortunate that this is like all she's relegated these characters to be, because they could be more interesting than this, and she doesn't want to make them so. So,
it's also like, I personally feel like it's so much worse because of the fact that this is a children's book, because of the message that she is sending to young readers.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I would love to know. I would love to know if there were like kids who were bigger that read this and like maybe they just didn't realize, because the only thing I can think is like they're the villains. So like you already just think they're bad anyway, but it's because they're villains. You don't equate when you're a kid, like she's drawing a parallel between being a villain and being a certain size. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just,
I don't know. So Dudley, Petunia, and Vernon are having breakfast, which consists of quarters of grapefruit.
No.
Which
No. That is it.
Yeah, a quarter is crazy. My mom used to do half a grapefruit in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's more common. Or like sliced grapefruit, like pieces of grapefruit in a bowl.
And then she'd put sugar on it.
Not the only thing. Oh, she put sugar on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What are you going to eat, that sour ass grapefruit?
Hey, who am I to judge, Adam? I came over to your house and asked if I could eat frosting.
You did. Betty Crocker's greatest frosting right out of our fridge.
No, I think it literally was in your cabinet. I'm pretty sure I opened it.
Was it just in the cabinet? Oh,
I think so. Memories, childhood,
We'd have to get into diets.
This is what. Oh, okay, yes. Let's let's talk about diet culture, please. I would love to.
Okay. So
okay.
So you find out that at the end of his last year of school, Dudley received his like end of year report or whatever that is.
Sure.
And like part of it was like his grades aren't good. And Petunia was like, well, he's just so misunderstood by his teachers. And my favorite quote, Vernon says he didn't want some swatty little Nancy boy for a son anyway. And I was like, now my mom's name is Nancy.
Nancy boy.
So Nancy boy, here she is.
Yes, the toxic masculinity, the fatphobia.
Yeah. I want to say Vernon is a person that would say that.
So. Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. It's just there's a lot that needs to be covered in this chapter. I'm like, there's so much to unpack.
So then there was like accusations of bullying, and Petunia was like, oh, he would never hurt a fly, my little Dunnykins, my little diddly pop.
What was it? She was like, he's a boisterous little boy.
He's a boisterous little boy.
That sounds a lot like Boys Will Be Boys, Petunia.
Ooh.
That's what that sounds like to me, girl.
Go off.
Boo.
Boisterous. So then at the bottom of the report was the information from the school nurse that Dudley is so big that he cannot, they have no more knickerbockers for him to wear. Now that's not funny. But it's funny that they're wearing knickerbockers.
Oh, I thought you were okay. Yes. Knickerbockers specifically.
Yeah, because it's why are they dressed like newsies from the 20s?
Seize the day. Send up the gates right away. What is that? What is if we're united? What is it?
If we're
wasn't this like a graduation song that we sang?
We'll slay the giant. I know that was one.
Yeah.
So the worst part of this entire description of Dudley is this line. Dudley had reached roughly the size and weight of a young killer whale.
Literally, I was listening to this.
I'm laughing because it's so crazy that she wrote it.
I know you are. And the thing is, I wanted to, going back to the nurse moment a little bit, at this point, we should all know that a person's weight does not dictate how healthy they are. So the fact that like that's kind of what Joe's leaning on too, I'm like, okay, this is also revealing. You're revealing too much about yourself with like the way that you're writing this. Because we're supposed to think like, oh, well, if the nurse said that, then like, okay. Which like, sure. Do I think that like in the world of Harry Potter, do I think that like Dudley is like binge eating or like eating too much or whatever? Sure. Like I get what she's trying to say, that like he has no boundaries. His parents have not taught him to like do anything except like do whatever the fuck he wants.
Gratifies him, yeah.
Yes, like he has no boundaries. He does whatever he wants, gets whatever he wants. Like he's very spoiled. So like I get why she's trying to do this, but I'm just like the fact that like that's how you like added this whole like diet plot line in. Like I don't know if it's just supposed to be so Harry has like a one up on Dudley. Like I just don't really know why she wanted to go in this direction.
It's also weird when you think about, I think what I'm realizing too is like there's obviously the characters when they speak and that's their verbatim dialogue. Like that's what they are saying.
Right.
But the book series narrates from a first-person omniscient narrator perspective. Right. So it is not the thoughts of Harry. So it is not Harry saying Dudley had reached the size and weight of a young killer whale. Right. It is whoever is the narrator, which like there's not a specific person it's necessarily tied to. So it does seem like it's like Joe's thought.
That's what I'm saying. She keeps like revealing herself.
I understand that it's that the phrase is like used to be, it's supposed to be fun. Like it's supposed to be comedic. Like that is the point of the phrase. I am not dumb. I understand that. I did just look up how large a young killer whale is. It is
there's no way.
It is approximately, wait, hold on. Let me reopen the page. Size estimates of SeaWorld-born killer whales suggest that newborn calves are about 8.5 feet long and 265 to 353 pounds.
Are we supposed to think
this is a 300-pound 13-year-old? I don't know. Well, then there's the other comment later that says like he's wider than he is tall.
Yes. That's what I was just thinking about. And I'm like, this is what I'm saying. She is like really going in. Like she keeps coming back to it. She keeps emphasizing it. I'm like, girl.
It really, that's I think more frustrating is like, it's always happening to the Dursleys specifically more than anyone else, because I think it's partly to do with the thing of like, the thing she does at the beginning of each book where she's like, I have to reintroduce you to everything.
Right.
And because like we only stay with them for a chapter, maybe 2 at the most, like it's not like she's going to give them their whole life backstory, which like, I understand that. I understand how writing happens. I don't need to know the like lives and experiences of these characters.
Dudley Dursley was born in...
But it feels frustrating in that it's similar to like the way that every book we have to start with this being like, and Harry was an odd boy because he was a wizard. And so it's like, and now it's just like, but she has to keep finding ways to say that. So this is like the new version of like, here's how I'm going to describe these characters because I'm not going to go more into it at all.
I always think about what you said, how like people will use tropes like these in like children's books. And I'm like we always reference Willy Wonka and like Augustus Gloop, how they like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
And I just, I just like bums me out. I'm just like, this sucks. Like if I was a kid reading these books and I was like a fat kid, like that would have really bummed me out. I would have been like, or I wouldn't have even like, I would have subconsciously, like processed that rather than being like, oh, well, like I'm bigger and like I have trouble fitting into clothes and like I need to go up and like wear bigger sizes. And like, does that mean like I'm gross? Like thinking something like that. Or like I said, subconsciously. And then like later, like, this like self-hatred starts. So it's just, and that's not so much, I mean, that's like society too. So it's like, you're getting it from all directions. But in a children's book, it just makes me like, it makes me feel like I want to be extra aware of like what my children are reading. That age, at such a young age, like you would hope you wouldn't have to look for those things in books like that. But I mean, you do.
It's also
I didn't really remember this, that she went in like,
I didn't remember it
really, either. It's just so clear. She is so fat phobic. And it's like,
it's also really very upsetting. Much, I will not in defense or anything, but just like as an extra understanding of whatever, this is like peak time when you talk about like size in this way. Like there was no
when
understanding in the late 90s, early 2000s of like how to be kind to people. Of their weight.
Yeah.
That was not a thing that existed. I mean, it barely exists now. I'm not even trying to say like we as a culture have like gotten better to the point that
we still have so much more work to do. But yeah, at least now there's like a conversation about it. Because what year was this book published? 2000. I see 2000 by J.K. Rowling.
So, that happens. And then we get a little comment that Harry says that he believes that Petunia is still giving him a smaller portion than what Dudley's getting.
Of course. Not even surprised.
Classic Petunia. But then we go into this weird whole thing where Harry's like, this is where it was weird to me, because he was like, well, as soon as he realized that he was going to have to diet this summer, he reached out to his friends. And so like on one hand, you as the, so like what he's about to describe of like his food for the summer, which is essentially consisted of birthday cake. This is what you find out.
Literally.
He gets 4 different birthday cakes, and that's what he's been eating.
Stale birthday cake? Like birthday?
So gross.
How is he keeping it?
No, bad, boo.
Birthday cake gets so stale if it's just like sitting out like that. It's not good.
What'd you do? Grab some saran wrap? No.
There's not a spell you can do because you'll get expelled.
It's in the floorboard? Girl, there's mice eating that. There are
roaches.
bugs.
There are roaches. No.
But this is like, what I thought about was I was like, he's eating the same things that Dudley eats. But like, we are supposed to see Dudley as like, this is what's the difference. Because Dudley's fat.
This is a great point.
That's why he's gross.
Yeah.
But Harry's okay to do it because he's thin. That's all. And that's, you know what? And I think that's where I'm going to leave that, because I think that's all that needs to be said.
How much more do we need to focus on this? Yeah, we probably shouldn't. But you're right. That's a very good point to make, because that's also a societal thing.
Yeah, I do love the descriptor of Errol flying a fruitcake plus some other sweets, some pasties from the Weasley's house, and then needing 5 days to recover.
Let Errol retire.
Yeah.
Let him live in like the barn out back. He's earned it. Can you stop? He didn't even need to earn it. Let this owl have a life like where he's not a workhorse. I'm just like, poor owl.
This owl's like 38 years old, which is 112 in owl years.
Yeah. In owl years, correct. Yeah. Yes. Great.
This owl's like the owl in Bambi, the one who's like Twitter-pated. Anyway,
yeah.
That owl. The mail comes. The post comes. It is not Sunday. The post comes. Uncle and Vernon goes to collect the mail, at which point Dudley steals the rest of his quarter of grapefruit. Which, that's a good bit. That's funny.
Yeah. I liked that. Of course he does.
And then he comes back extremely angry and tells Harry that he wants to talk to him in the living room. So they go into the living room. He shuts the door. And he proceeds to read him a letter that they received, and it reads thus. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, we have never been introduced, but I am sure you've heard a great deal from Harry about my son, Ron.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I don't understand. What has Ron told his parents about his experience?
Ron has said nothing. Like, that's the one thing about this that took me out. Like, I was like, I get why it's like they're writing a letter to like make it look like they're asking permission or whatever. But I'm like, this is really weird. And also, why not use Hermione as a resource, Ron?
Because Ron doesn't think, unfortunately.
Because Hermione's a woman. So,
as Harry might have told you, the final of the Quidditch World Cup takes place next Monday night, and my husband Arthur has just managed to get prime tickets through his connections at the Department of Magical Games and Sports. Which I'm sure that I would have liked to have heard him read this in the movie and like him stumble over the word magical.
I know.
That would have been very funny.
Yeah.
I do hope you will allow us to take Harry to the match, as this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Britain hasn't hosted the Cup for nearly 30 years, and tickets are extremely hard to come by. We would, of course, be glad to have Harry stay for the remainder of the summer holidays and to see him safely onto the train back to school. It would be best for Harry to send us your answer as quickly as possible in the normal way, because the Muggle postman has never delivered to our house, and I am not sure he even knows where it is. Hoping to see Harry soon. Yours sincerely, Molly Weasley. P.S. I do hope we've put enough stamps on.
Brilliant.
This is such a bummer that this isn't in the movie, because
I know! It's so good! It would have been such a great moment.
This gag of like I remember laughing out loud to this the first time I read it. Like the idea of, because isn't it the picture? Isn't it the chapter illustration?
I was just gonna say the chapter illustration. I remember us looking, like asking my mom to like flip back so we could look at it.
Yeah. So the illustrated copy has a version too, and it's.
Oh my God! Yes, that's
right
exactly. Oh my God, that's so perfect. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what it looked like.
So good.
Exactly what it looked like it's real. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
This is a documentary book.
It's an actual photo. This is what it is in the chapter.
Oh, yes. Very classic.
Cute.
So at this point, Harry's going to do some hostage negotiating.
Yeah. Some very clever manipulation.
Very sly like a fox. This one is. So Uncle Vernon is obviously going through in his head the what he can do. So
pros and cons. He's weighing the pros and cons.
Right. So
that meme of the woman with like, is it the woman
yes.
with all the that's Uncle Vernon right now. The geometry.
Yeah. So if he lets Harry go, he gets a Harry-free house for 2 extra weeks that he was not planning on. And famously, he hates Harry. However, on the other hand, if he lets him go, then he's giving Harry something Harry would want, which is antithetical to everything that Uncle Vernon believes in.
Yeah.
So they have this bit where he like references the postman thinking the envelope was funny.
And how he's like,
how dare
he say that to me?
He like they have this brief interaction where they talk about Molly Weasley, and this was another thing that I noticed.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. We're coming back to it again.
You've seen her, said Harry. She's my friend Ron's mother. She was meeting him off the school train at the end of last term. He had almost said Hogwarts Express, and that was a surefire way to get his uncle's temper up. Nobody ever mentioned the name of Harry's school aloud in the Dursley household. Again, something we know, because we've read the other 3 books. We didn't really
need that.
Uncle Vernon screwed up his enormous face as though trying to remember something very unpleasant. Dumpy sort of woman, he growled finally. Load of children with red hair.
Load of children?
Not dumpy, the word you yourself, narrator, used to describe Pomona Sprout.
Parmesan Sprout deserves better, and so does Molly Weasley.
Prosciutto Sprout is an icon. How dare you? So I just had to call out the word dumpy because I had to call it out.
Yeah.
Because it was there. Because she wrote it in the book.
If you see something, say something, Adam.
See something, say something. If you're on a train and you see something suspicious, see something, say something. So Uncle Vernon and Harry continue to have this conversation. And Harry gets a little salty by...
Oh, I liked this moment.
Yeah, I did too, actually.
I was like, okay, Harry, I see you, yes.
But the thing he reacts to that makes him so salty is Vernon. He talks about sending the normal way for sending post, which is obviously owl post. Mm-hmm. And Vernon says, "How many times do I have to tell you not to mention that unnaturalness under my roof?" And I think this was the first time I realized that Harry's unnaturalness as a wizard in this home and how they make him feel is supposed to be the equivalent of how Muggles are made to feel about their unnaturalness in the wizarding world. Like Muggle-born witches and wizards. I think that's the parallel that she's drawing.
That's what she's trying to do? Oh, okay. I never even thought of that.
I would assume so. I mean, other than like just the normal, like you make your hero of your young adult story like an orphan like broken down in some way so that they have to like leave. But congrats to everybody involved. And then he was like, "Oh, you stand there in the clothes that Petunia and I bought for you," as if now maybe he's wearing one of the socks that he got for Christmas.
He's wearing but those are Vernon's old socks too.
Oh, that's
those are
true.
hand-me-downs as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and then Harry says only after Dudley finished using them, which is a good retort. I agree.
And he feels like he can say this now. He feels like he can retort a little bit more now because he's got the serious card.
Yeah, he's 14.
Yeah, he's practically a fully grown wizard.
A fully qualified, almost fully qualified wizard. And Vernon gets very angry, and so Harry plays the serious card. And by that, I mean both SERIOUS and SIRIUS.
Both, yes.
And is like, okay, well, that's fine. Not a problem.
I'm just gonna
write to my godfather.
No, I'm not mad. I'm fine.
Who's mad?
I'm not upset. I'm just gonna go write a letter, though, to my godfather murderer.
Yeah. Don't know if you remember him. He murdered 14 muggles on the middle of the street. It's fine.
Not unrelated, but...
Just quick temper, this guy. I don't know. Yeah. But good luck. I hope that the rest of your summer goes well. And good luck with the diet.
I'll be upstairs if you need me.
So Vernon's like terrified that he's going to be wizard murdered, which would be worse than normal murdered, obviously.
The unnaturalness of a wizard murder.
Unnaturalness. Walking in on... You get the autopsy, and they've just died of nothing. Who knows?
Like the riddles.
So he lets him go to the World Cup, and Harry's like, "Great, thank you so much. Have a great day. Nice to see you." And then like leaves, and Dudley's at the door, upset that Harry is not leaving, crying or broken or beaten or any such thing. And then Harry goes up to write a letter to Sirius and Ron to let them know that he will be on his way. And as soon as he walks in the bedroom, I guess his bedroom window was open, I would have to assume.
Had to have been.
He walks into his bedroom and sees that there is a bird, a owl, a small owl. Is it gray?
I thought he was. Yeah, I always pictured him as gray.
Oh, yes. What appeared to be a small gray feathery tennis ball was in Harry's room flying around, and it is Pigwidgeon? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Pigwidgeon.
My favorite magical pet of the series. Pig.
So Pig Pig makes an appearance and gives a letter to Harry from Ron. Ron says, "Harry, Dad got the tickets. Ireland versus Bulgaria Monday night. Mom's writing to the Muggles to ask you to stay. They might already have the letter. I don't know how fast Muggle post is. Thought I'd send this with Pig anyway. We're coming for you whether the Muggles like it or not. You can't miss the World Cup. Only Mom and Dad reckon it's better if we pretend to ask their permission first. If they say yes, send Pig back with your answer pronto, and we'll come and get you at 5 o'clock on Sunday. If they say no, send Pig back pronto, and we'll come and get you at 5 o'clock on Sunday anyway. Hermione's arriving this afternoon. Percy started work, the Department of International Magical Cooperation. Don't mention anything about abroad while you're here unless you want the pants bored off of you. See you soon, Ron."
Do you think that like Ron and Hermione had like a little flirty moment before Harry got there?
Like when they were in Hogsmeade without Harry. That was also the other. Yeah.
Only in the movie though. JK has them talking about freaking Harry, which I'm like, girl, no. But I kind of like to imagine that they have like a little flirty moment.
A little like,
so cute.
Oh my gosh, good to see you. It's been a few weeks.
Hi. I mean, I guess I'll hug you or something real quick. Oh my God, Mom,
stop. I think it would have been funny if Vernon had said no, but then they still came and got Harry. I do like what happens in the next chapter because it's also very funny, but I think it would be even funnier if they were like not anticipating them arriving.
I love the setup of them being like all fancy in like their Sunday best, like ready to like greet them and like basically be like, look how much better we are than you. And then I won't spoil it. Not that this is anyone's first time reading the books, but if it was, I don't want to spoil it.
The thing we don't want to spoil, obviously, is not Horcruxes.
Yeah,
it's not
the major plot points, but it's what happens next in chapter 4 of book 4. Very important. I remember like dying laughing at that chapter, though. It was so funny to me. Didn't have that in the movie either. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, in the movie, doesn't it just start and they're at the Burrow?
I'm starting to think that Goblet of Fire might be my least favorite movie. Like, we haven't even really talked about it that much, but like, I just feel like it's going to be my least favorite. Like there's so much that's missing.
It's the worst in terms of visual moments for the cast. I'll say that.
Yeah, there is no visual line.
No,
Cedric Diggory.
No visual.
Cedric Diggory is the visual.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much that's missing. And I understand with a book that's like this thick.
Right.
I get it. But like, I don't know. I still feel like there was a way. All the crap added in with David Tennant being Barty Crouch Jr. There's a lot of that I was like, do we need it? Yeah. Do we need it? I don't know if we need it all.
Do we need it? So he sends a letter back to Ron saying, they've let me go. I'll see you tomorrow. And then he sends a letter to Sirius that says, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be at Ron's the rest of the summer because I'm going to see the Quidditch World Cup. Ya boy? Your boy's going? And that was it. That's the chapter. He's excited about the World Cup and has forgotten that his scar hurt.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about Voldemort anymore. Voldemort who?
Voldemort
what?
I'm seeing Bulgaria.
Yeah.
A country that, as an American boy of however old I was when I read this book, I was like, there's a country called Bulgaria.
Bulgaria? Beautiful. Great. Thank you so much.
My absolute that wraps pleasure, up this. Ari.
Oh, no, please continue.
Oh, no, that was it. No, I'll just go ahead and write a letter to my godfather, and it's... No, it's
fine. No. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Who's mad?
Who's mad? Who's Voldemort? Well, that wraps up this chapter. Next week, we'll be reading chapter 4 called Back to the Burrow. We do have a review this week from B. Hickey 10. Is this Bridget Hickey? Has to be.
Has to be, right?
Bridget Hickey, thank you. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, she put her... I don't know. We also don't know. It could be Benjamin Hickey. It could be their last name could just be Bicky.
That's true. I did know other people that have Hickey last names. That's true. Anyway, we have a new review. Funny and appropriately critical. I appreciate that a lot.
Wow.
Thank you.
Important.
5 stars. Love the pod. I appreciate how critical they are of everything because they are already HP appreciation pods. Or there are already HP appreciation pods. They have great chemistry and I love how they pull the strings on the logic of the universe. Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Thank you so much, B. Hickey 10.
You have to create your own lane in this world. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else you'll have to eat 1/4 of a grapefruit.
No, gross.
Yes. Yes.
Only if there's sugar.
No sugar. Just 1/4 plain.
No sugar? No sugar?
No sugar? I don't want to live in that world. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at HBAnxious, Instagram at HBAnxious, and YouTube at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Anchor and recorded on Zencaster, so thank you to both of them and are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Ari.
You're welcome. And as always, Knox.